Our previous video established that people care. Now we go to the core, the deliberate manipulation of science. The government and Greens policies are based on reports by the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the UN IPCC. It selects scientists and activists to read literature. UN politicians then write summary reports given to national governments and media. The IPCC does no scientific research. It's not accountable to any national governments. It is accountable to no one. Our website provides a brief global climate alarm timeline, starting with 1974's supposed forecast, imminent, irreversible, catastrophic, global freezing. A new ice age, blamed on coal and oil. Some of the same climate scientists who now fabricate global warming brought you global cooling just 30 years ago. The same supposed cause producing a completely opposite result. 2 years later, in 1976, a slight increase in temperatures was christened the Great Pacific Climate Shift. Just 4 years later, at the UN's 1980 conference in Villach, Austria, government scientists from around the world refused to sign the UN's claim of global warming due to human production of carbon dioxide. They said, "There's no evidence." The UN learned its lesson. For its next conference in 1985, the UN selected the delegates. Those delegates signed the UN's claim despite the continuing lack of evidence. The UN fabricated global warming. In 1995, 5 times IPCC scientists reported there's no evidence of human warming. Yet UN politicians reported to national governments and media, and I quote, "The balance of evidence suggests a discernible human influence on global climate." The UN contradicting the evidence. Why? I'll tell you why. The IPCC's actual written instructions state that once they've announced the politics, in this case the supposed need to reduce human production of carbon dioxide, then the only changes they will publish to the science report, to use their exact words, shall be those necessary to ensure consistency with the summary for policymakers. That is, the political document. The IPCC's chairman at the time, Bert Bolin, had previously pushed for a carbon dioxide tax before the IPCC was even formed. The politics, the grab for money and power, was decided before they even started the science. As Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd echoed IPCC Chairman Rajendra Pachauri, repeatedly stating 4,000 scientists claim warming is blamed on human production of carbon dioxide. UN figures, though, reveal only 5 reviewers endorse that claim. Not 4,000 scientists, just 5 reviewers. A blatant falsity from the very top of the UN's climate body, spread by the very top of the Rudd-Gillard-Brown government. Chapter 9 of the IPCC's latest report, 2007, is its core. This section is where it actually claims there is warming and attributes it to human production of carbon dioxide. I've read it completely twice. There is no evidence humans caused the CO2 caused warming. UN expert science reviewer, internationally eminent research scientist Dr. Vincent Gray has around 60 years real-world experience in science, including the last 21 years in climate. He's reviewed all 4 IPCC reports, 1990, 95, 2001, 2007. He says there's no evidence of man-made warming anywhere. IPCC data reveals that the peer review processes are corrupted, often bypassed, sometimes prevented. Its latest report, 2007, cites and relies on more than 5,500 references that were not peer-reviewed, including hikers' stories, newspaper articles, and political activist campaign material. Yet IPCC Chairman Rajendra Pachauri repeatedly claims 100% use of peer-reviewed science. Yet another blatant falsity from the very top of the UN climate body, spread by the very top of the Rudd-Gillard-Brown government. In Australia, I've asked for evidence from all 8 publicly prominent university academics spreading global warming fear. Flannery, Caroli, Garneau, Stephan, England, Pittman, Lambach, Goldberg, and from CSIRO's Chief Executive, Megan Clark, and its Group Environmental Executive, Andrew Johnson, and Australia's Chief Scientist appointed under Rudd, Penny Sackett, and recently from the Australian Academy of Sciences Science Policy Manager, Martin Callanan, who reportedly previously worked for Rudd's government. Flannery is the government's Chief Climate Commissioner. Stephan, a commissioner. Caroli, England and Pittman are on the Climate Commission's Science Advisory Panel. Garneau seems the main climate advisor for the government. Most replied to my request. They all failed to provide evidence. They failed to disclose their financial interests. All are government funded. Your taxes, no evidence. Fraud is defined by the dictionary as the presentation of something as it is not for personal gain. The International Inter-Academy Council reviewed the IPCC disgraced by the ClimateGate scandal. So critical is the Council's report, it's impossible for anyone to know which IPCC statements, if any, can be believed. There can be no confidence at all in the IPCC's latest report, 2007. Yet the Council's executive summary was inconsistent in tone and content with the report's body. The executive summary appears to violate the Council's own guidelines. One of the two summary authors is Kurt Lambach, former president of the Australian Academy of Science. He's in the Australian National University's Climate Change Institute. Its director is Will Stephan. Close interconnections between climate research institutes within major universities, the IPCC, various academies and government bodies are deep and extensive. The common thread? Government funding. It ranges from research grants to publication under another name of glossy documents funded by the Department of Climate Change. Yet none have any specific real-world scientific evidence that human production of carbon dioxide caused Earth's latest modest atmospheric warming period that ended around 1998. Some documents appear to simply be propaganda. Is the academic's position accidental, an honest mistake, unconscious, deliberately deceptive, or fraudulent? You decide. It's clear there's no consensus attributing global warming to carbon dioxide. There's no scientific consensus for the government's claim. The basis for government climate policy is political reports driven by a political agenda reversing and corrupting science. Misrepresentations of science are promoted by people benefiting financially from spreading climate fear. None of this will help our planet. It hurts our planet. It hurts people. Check for yourself at our website. Section 1 is entitled Scientific Untruths. We expose the UN and government misrepresentations of science. We have provided a short summary and a full argument with references. In our next episode, we will look at the core facts on carbon dioxide. Facts agreed on by both climate alarmists and skeptics. These facts reveal that carbon dioxide cannot do what climate alarmists claim. I'm Malcolm Roberts on behalf of the Galileo Movement. Protecting your money, protecting your freedom.